completely faith-filled and confident. The next morning, I kissed those little girls goodbye, walked out of Mark's arms, boarded a 747, and headed for Saigon. It was April 1st. Could have been a hint. Carol and I got as far as Denver, where we were greeted by the national officers. They gave us 18 boxes of supplies to take along with us. No problem. But then they asked us the fateful question. Would we smuggle $10,000 in cash to Vietnam? Well, Carol in her wisdom shakes her head, no. And I listen as they explain that the Vietnamese currency has no value anymore. And with 10,000 American dollars, they'd buy out an entire commissary and save the children. So I shook my head, yes. Made my way to the bathroom, where I established what we believe today to still be the most expensive padded bra in world history. I haven't checked the Guinness Book of World Records. I can't seem to find that category, but I'm pretty sure I still hold that record. You're the Victoria's Secret? This is LeAnn's secret. So we get to Saigon, and our plane is circling Tan Son Nhut Air Force Base, and I look down at this runway lined with camouflage fighter jets, and I realize this is not an airport, this is a war zone. And I tell you, as I descended the steps of that airplane, my heart was beating heavy under all that cash. And I looked across at the customs counter where I saw a really mean-looking Vietnamese guard with a really big gun. And I knew he was going to take one look at this and know this is no act of God. And I made my way safely through customs. And then I was greeted with these words by the director who picked us up. She said, "Have you heard the news? President Gerald Ford okayed Operation Babylift. You won't help us take out 6 babies, you'll help us take out 300. That's what I went, oh my gosh, 300 babies? 300? That's when I knew why I had said yes. That's when I knew what was driving me to go. But by the time I got there, did I mention bombs are dropping outside the city? We can feel our building trembling. So they were gathering babies in from all of the foster homes, from all over the city, from other orphanages, and every inch of our floor was covered with a sheet or a mat. And every inch of sheet or mat was covered with a baby. We had seas and seas of babbling, burping, bawling babies. And then, the next day, a miracle happened. At breakfast the next morning, I was told, "LeAnn, because of Operation Babylift, you and Mark are going to be assigned one of the 100 babies we have gathered here so far. Now you can wait and they'll assign you a baby from across the desk in Denver in a few weeks. Or you can walk into the next room and choose a son." And I did. But actually, as I said in my book, Mitch chose me. Friends, I walked into a room of 100 babies, and a little 9-month-old boy stood next to a crib, pinching the little kid's toes. That should have been a hint. He took one look at me, got down on his hands and knees, and crawled right over to me, up my pant leg, into my arms, my heart, and our family. And we had a son. And we were as ready as we were going to be, and it's a good thing, because on the 5th and final day I was there, Ross, a young American, came bounding in the room with the news. It's it. It's our turn, our babies, airlift flight to freedom. Oh, the workers were so happy they were crying, dressing their babies in the special clothes that they'd saved for them for this, their homecoming day. But getting them all to the airport was not going to be so easy. Did you know you can fit 22 in a Volkswagen van? You simply take out the center seat, and 22 fit quite snugly. You know, it's kind of sad to think this is probably the only cover girl shot I will ever get. This was on the front of the St. Louis Journal back in 1975. However, I'm humbled to say it was this picture that appeared in the Newsweek magazine Voices of the Century issue. They called me in the year 2000 doing a 100-year oral history of our country. And they put this photograph and my narrative on the same page as Henry Kissinger. But on that day, we were at the airport where there was a C-130 cargo jet, huge empty airplane. The workers helped us load the babies on, and We had just a few toddlers who could sit in the bench seats. We had mostly babies. So we had 22 cardboard boxes end to end. Who knew you can fit 2 to 3 babies in a cardboard box? Then, believing in seatbelt safety, we took a strap from one end of the plane over the 22 boxes and secured it on the other. And we came home and lived happily ever after. And sometimes people take a look at my family then and my family today. And then when people see that my kids have kids and that my baby girl adopted 2 children from Tupelo, Mississippi. And then when you hear the rest of the story and realize that on the 25th anniversary of Operation Babylift, I got to go stand before 100 young men and women, many of whom I helped to bring out. I happened to be in the same town where President Gerald Ford lived, part-time. He heard I was coming, and they called and said that he'd like to meet me. They said he wondered if he could have his picture taken with me. I said, I don't know, I'm pretty busy. But what a privilege it was to have time with President Gerald Ford. And he sat in the audience after he introduced me and heard this story. And all of this, my friends, is the rest of the story.